Well, I can already tell this video is going to go over so well with my subscribers. I might actually lose a few subscribers after making this video, and this video is probably going to get dislike bombed to hell, but hey, you guys know who I am. You know I'm never afraid to say what's on my mind, no matter how unpopular it may be, so here we go. I love the Epic Game Store. I think it's one of the greatest things to happen to PC gaming in a very long time. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of people, it's a very popular thing to hate on the Epic Game Store, but if you look at it objectively, the Epic Game Store has been great for the PC gaming consumer because we have more competition, and competition is always a good thing because Steam has had pretty much a monopoly over the PC gaming marketplace for the past 15 years. This isn't to say that I have any problem with Steam. I love Steam, but competition always brings the best out of everybody, and we've seen that with Epic Games and Valve. If it wasn't for the Epic Game Store, developers would not have received a larger cut for their games sold on Steam because they had to respond to the Epic Game Store only taking a 13% cut of game sales, while Valve was taking like 30%, 35%, so they had to lower their revenue share in order to be competitive with Epic Games. So this competition has definitely been great for developers and publishers, but also for the consumer, because look at all the free games we've been getting ever since the launch of the Epic Game Store. No strings attached. It's not like the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, where these quote-unquote free games, in order to keep them in your library, you have to keep paying a monthly subscription fee. That is not the case with Epic Games. Those games are yours to keep forever. I got Grand Theft Auto 5 for free on PC, no strings attached, and we've seen a lot more free games from Steam as well. I mean, so many free games that we've been getting on Steam. I haven't seen anything like this until the launch of the Epic Game Store, so I'm not exactly sure why people are hating on Epic Games right now. I mean, they've definitely come a long way. At first, yeah, the store was pretty buggy, and you didn't have basic features like adding friends and everything. But really, if you think about it, I don't even talk to my friends on Steam. If I'm going to communicate with people on PC, I'm just going to use Discord, so that whole thing doesn't really matter. People just love to follow the trends of hating on Epic Games, and they just can't think for themselves. I get it, you guys don't like the exclusivity deals that Epic is signing with these different companies, that you can only play certain games on the Epic Game Store, and you don't have an option to choose between Epic and Steam, that you're kind of forced to install the Epic Game Store. But the thing is, exclusive content is the only way to ever have viable competition in any market. Never mind gaming, but also Hollywood, entertainment, streaming like Netflix. If Netflix didn't have any exclusive shows, then what would be the point of having Netflix over any of the other various streaming services that we have? So these people who complain about the exclusivity deals, simply put, don't understand basic economics. Because if it was just being pro-consumer and having great features and just being an overall great gaming platform, then we'd all be buying and playing all our games on GOG. But GOG is so far behind Steam and Epic that you can obviously tell that it takes a lot more than just having good features to have a viable and successful gaming platform. And don't even get me started with the shit that people say about the Epic Game Store being part of some type of huge Chinese conspiracy to take over the world, because Epic Games is partially owned by Tencent, which is a Chinese investment firm. So, oh yeah, Epic Games is in bed with the Chinese government, and they're gonna steal all your information, and they're gonna take over the world. Well, there are two problems with that. First of all, Tencent doesn't have a majority stake in Epic Games. Tim Sweeney is still the one that calls the shots, no matter what people say, no matter what all these conspiracy theories are. There really is no evidence to back up the claim that Epic Games is part of some grand Chinese conspiracy just because they have a Chinese investor. I mean, there are a lot of companies that have Chinese investors because we're in a global market. Our economies are so interconnected. Of course, there are companies out there that are going to have Chinese investors. That doesn't mean that the companies themselves are directly controlled by the Chinese government. Because, yeah, obviously, Chinese corporations, it's a joint entity between the private corporation and the Chinese government. The Chinese government has a stake in every company that operates in China. But the thing is, most international companies have some type of operation in China and a relationship with the Chinese government. Because if you want to operate in China, you have to have that relationship. Which brings me to the second problem that there is with this whole claim that Epic Games is controlled by China. Why are people singling out Epic but ignoring all the other companies that have ties to China? Okay, so Activision Blizzard, Tencent has a stake in that company. They have investment in Ubisoft. But how about Riot Games? That company is actually under direct control by Tencent. Tencent has full ownership over that company. So if you play League of Legends or Valorant, then you really have no right to criticize criticize Epic's relationship with Tencent, because Epic is not fully controlled by Tencent, while Riot Games is. But for some reason, I hear a lot more criticism related to China towards Epic than Riot, which doesn't really make much sense. I'm just convinced that people are gonna hate on Epic no matter what. That isn't to say that you can't have any valid criticism towards Epic Games. There's definitely plenty of criticism to have, like I mentioned earlier about there not being enough features that you really should have in a modern game launcher. Like, really? We still don't have a shopping cart? There's definitely no excuse for things like that. But as far as the exclusivity deal goes, I understand why people have a problem with that, especially games that were advertised on Steam and then were immediately taken down from Steam and made exclusive to Epic. But we're talking about a launcher here. It's not like a game was advertised for Xbox and then was immediately pulled from Xbox and made exclusive to PS4, which means that people who wanted that game would have to spend another $300, $400 on a new console. So it's not like that. The only thing you have to do is download a free launcher. And if you don't like the launcher, then you don't have to buy the game. I find it very amusing that the same people in the PC gaming community that go out of their way to make fun of console fanboys, of the people who are obsessed with PlayStation like JTech, and the Xbox fanboys, these people that clearly have an unhealthy obsession with a gaming platform. Like, if you insult the PlayStation, it's like you're insulting their mother. It's crazy. And most rational people would agree that these people are pretty sad and pathetic. But then you also have these people on the PC side that do the exact same thing, but instead of PlayStation or Xbox, it's Valve and Steam. The truth is that you have so many people that love Steam, and rightfully so. I mean, Steam has definitely shaped the modern PC gaming experience in a very positive way, and they've done a lot for not only PC gaming, but the entire gaming industry. And as a result, you have a lot of people that feel a sense of loyalty to Valve because of all that they've done, and they're just so apprehensive towards there being any type of competition to Steam, because they view it as a threat to the existence of Steam, which is kind of ridiculous, because competition is always a good thing. And the fact of the matter is, you could hate on Epic Games, but there's nobody else that's even trying to step up to Valve. Discord, it seemed like they were doing it. It seemed very promising. We had a game store and everything, and Discord is one of the most popular things in gaming right now, if not the most popular. And I think it's a missed opportunity, like I said in a previous video, that they're not the ones going head-to-head with Steam. I think that would probably be a lot better and more sustainable, because people actually enjoy using Discord, and let's face it, not a lot of people enjoy using Epic as much as Discord. But I don't really think that matters, because Epic Games is doing what it's supposed to. It's giving Steam that competition, and it's great for PC gaming. It's great for the developers, especially the indie developers. I hate this characterization of the Epic Game Store as just being a platform for greedy publishers that just want that extra money because of the exclusivity deals, because of the larger revenue cut. Think of Take-Two and all these other big AAA publishers that only took the deal with Epic Games because they got a lot more money out of it than if they left their games exclusively to Steam. Because there's two things. One, the big exclusivity contract, and two, the larger revenue cut. Well, first of all, hate to break it to you, but these large corporations, they're not charities. They're businesses, and they're out there to make money. So them doing something to make more money, that's somehow shocking to some people. Look at your favorite streamers out there. They always take these exclusivity contracts with Twitch, with Mixer, and all these different streaming platforms because it makes sense. They're at the end of the day, they're businesses, and they're out there to make money. No shit. If you hate the idea of businesses doing everything they can to make money, then you're not a big fan of capitalism, which is fine, but keep in mind that if it weren't for capitalism, we wouldn't have a video game industry. But never mind the big corporations. The other problem that I have with people characterizing Epic in such a negative way is that they conveniently ignore all the great things that Epic does for the little guy. First of all, a lot of these exclusivity contracts, they can make the difference between whether or not a game is made or if it's not. Because you have a lot of instances where Epic does sign those exclusivity contracts with small indie developers, and yeah, those games are exclusive to the Epic Game Store. But in exchange, the game gets funded. Money doesn't grow on trees, especially if you're a small-time indie developer. There's a reason why indie developers strongly prefer Epic Game Store over Steam. Because the truth is that Epic Game Store is a lot better for developers than Steam is. They do a lot more for developers. They're more actively involved, making sure a game is published and that it has the proper funding and everything. And yeah, that comes with exclusivity, but why else would Epic do this? I mean, again, Epic Games is a business. They're not a charity either. And that's okay. The point is that Epic Game Store has done a lot of good for PC gaming. It's changed the lives of so many people in a very positive way. Because it's not just about the publicly traded large gaming corporations, it's also about the little guy. And the indie developers overwhelmingly love the Epic Game Store because it allows them to have a lot more money in their pocket. Epic Game Store actually does a lot more to help them than Steam does. And Epic is even giving out grants to developers, to small indie developers that haven't even made a name for themselves. They're just small-time developers that are just getting started, but they're making their game on Unreal Engine. And if you make a game on Unreal, Epic will actually give a grant and help fund your game. No strings attached. They don't even tell you how to publish your game, if it has to be Epic exclusive. And of course, all this started with the incredible success and popularity of Fortnite, which launched on the Epic Game Store. It was never on Steam or anywhere else. And what started off as just a simple way for Epic to not have to share their revenue with anyone else, having their own launcher, it eventually grew into a great gaming platform. And I'm not ashamed to say that I love the Epic Game Store and everything that it's done for PC gaming. Even as a consumer, I mean, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for free. I wouldn't be playing it right now if I didn't have the Epic Games launcher. Not to mention the incredible sale that's going on right now with Epic Games. I got a $10 voucher. You got these incredible sales. I mean, games are so cheap. They've never been cheaper because of Epic Games. And it brings us right back to the point I've been making. The main point of this video is that competition is always a good thing. So, no, Epic Game Store is amazing. It's done nothing but good for the gaming market, and people just need to open their eyes and realize that.